Good day, everybody. Happy Saturday. Taking puppies to the park. Autumn is in full swing. Leaves are turning and falling all around me. And I missed the light. Oh well. I wanted to make a quick video today on the way to the park because I haven't done one in a while. Last night, Donald J. Trump was on the Joe Rogan podcast. It was the episode 2219, I believe. And yeah, it was thoroughly entertaining, and it was well put together. What's the word? Well thought out on the part of Joe Rogan in terms of the questions he wanted to ask Donald Trump. And the thing about the Joe Rogan podcast that gets everybody, I think that makes it the most popular, is that it's really just two people having a conversation, sometimes three. Sometimes they have a debate, but most times it's just people having a conversation. And Donald Trump was in fine form last night. If you haven't seen it, I suggest you go back and watch it. It's on YouTube, it's on Spotify. But yeah, he comes off as so authentic. You know, everybody calls him a liar and that he lies all the time. Truth of the matter is, that's horseshit. Donald Trump's the most honest politician the United States has ever had in the halls of power there in Washington, D.C. You know how they used to call Abe Honest Abe because he wouldn't lie? Well, I'm sure Abraham Lincoln lied. I'm sure Donald Trump lies, but when it comes to talking about what's on his mind, what his ideas are, he's brutally honest, and that's why they hate him. So that's why they, whenever, you know, he was inaccurate, or he embellished, or he spoke in grandiose terms, they called him a liar. And if you listen to Trump, you'll notice he doesn't ever get tied down to like specific numbers. You know, he'll say things like a lot, many, you know, that kind of stuff, right? It was huge, you know, that kind of stuff. Anyway, he'd had a really solid conversation with the Joe Rogan last night, and it was completely authentic. And you contrast that to what Kamala Harris did at the town hall on CNN a few days back, and she was completely inauthentic. She couldn't even answer the questions. Oh man, I got a bad double chin. She couldn't even answer the questions. Like, there were questions that were just basic, simple questions. Would you be stronger in your support of Israel than Donald Trump? She couldn't answer that. Just say yes, or say, I will be the strongest president in support of Israel this country has ever seen. Embellish it, you know, lie even, but say something. She wouldn't say anything. It was terrible. And Donald Trump, even when he was evasive, he was honest about his evasion. When Joe Rogan asked him about how he would end the war in Ukraine, Donald Trump boastfully said that he would do it while he was president-elect. And Joe Rogan said, well, what would you do? What would you say? He says, well, look, I'm not going to give away my negotiating strategy or tactics. I'm not going to tell you exactly what it is I'm going to say. But just know this, I know them both. And I know what needs to be done. And I know how to, you know, deal with both of them. I know what they're like. I mean, this is the thing. He was a negotiator for years as a real estate mogul and a builder of big buildings. You know, this is his bread and butter. This is what he did for his entire career. So yeah, the idea. So I mean, this is the problem. This is why they have to label him a Nazi and you know, a fascist, and you know, he liked Hitler's generals and all this sort of stuff. This is why they have to do it, because they realize that, damn it, he's going to be really effective at doing what he wants to do. You know, it's they made a point last night about how Washington and the political spectrum, the political sphere, is a place where mediocre people who don't have a lot of talent can thrive, because it's a rigged system that rewards just following the marching orders, doing what's always been done, doing what you're told to do. The people who really sort of run Washington DC, you'll never see them. They're the CEOs who go to Bilderberg meetings and never talk on camera. You got your Klaus Schwabs and your George Soros, who, if they put a camera in their face, they'll talk about what their ideas are, what their thoughts are, and that's because they're full of themselves. And also, I think because they are, I don't know, psychopaths. I have no idea. But the people who actually pull the strings, so to speak, they don't fucking talk on camera. No, they have their lackeys do it. They have their Washington representatives do it. They have their media representatives do it. They don't talk themselves. They don't let people know what their thoughts are. They don't let people know what their plans are. They don't let people know what their credentials are. They just manipulate from behind the scenes. And that's why Trump is so frightening to them, because here's a guy who knows all the ins and outs of the power structures in Washington, D.C., in New York, and, around the world. And he knows how to deal with all those people, and he has no problem talking about it. This is why he's such a threat. Anyway, yeah. And then you have Kamala Harris, who, anybody now who supports Kamala Harris, they have to be an NPC or just a dyed-in-the-wool, moron. This is the best way to put it. See, because not all NPCs are morons. Some NPCs are incredibly articulate. But the NPC is the one who knows what they're supposed to say because it's been programmed into them. And then the people who are just in support of Kamala Harris because they're morons, they're the ones who, they're easily programmed by media who say Donald Trump's a fascist. Oh, I have to vote for Kamala Harris now because Donald Trump's a fascist. I mean, maybe they're the same thing. Maybe that's a moron and an NPC. I don't know. I just think of guys like Destiny. Destiny is so ideologically possessed. The dude is effectively an NPC because he refuses to change his point of view when shown the error of his position. He refuses to concede and say, you know what, I think I was wrong about that. Because he's programmed with a specific ideology. That's ideological possession. Ideological possession creates NPCs, and morons are default NPCs. Anyway, getting off on our tangent. Donald Trump did a great job on Joe Rogan's podcast last night. And Kamala Harris did a shitty job at the ABC Town Hall the other night. So I think it's pretty clear what is likely to happen in 10 days when they actually hold the election. But you know what? Excuse me. They're not stopping trying to steal it. There's a story out yesterday. I didn't read the full thing. I just saw snippets of it. But I guess they found a bunch of fraudulent ballots in one of these states, and a judge came out and said no, or fraudulent electors, fraudulent people on the voter rolls. They said these people don't exist, or they're not legit voters. They should be purged from the voter rolls. Well, the judge who was hearing the case said nope, they have to be kept. They've been proven to be false. They have to be kept. So maybe that'll be appealed. But then on another aspect of it, another sort of story in the same vein, Youngkin, I guess, is it Governor Youngkin? I can't remember. It's hard to concentrate and drive and think about what I read earlier. Basically has come out and ruled that no counting of ballots after election day. So you're either voting early or you're mailing them in before election day. Otherwise, they don't count. Good, because last election, it was a month later before they finished all the counting. Like, it's crazy. But the shenanigans are going to be in full swing. They're going to try and steal it. They're going to try and make it so that at the last minute, at the 11th hour, some polling stations in some very key key, what do you call it, ridings, they don't call them ridings, they're districts, are going to have problems with their systems, and they have to stop the count, and then they'll pick up the count the next day or whatever. That's what's going to happen. They're going to try it. Google's even up to their shenanigans. I was watching a Side Scrollers podcast yesterday, and I said in a super chat, and they were talking about elections and voting and voter ID, that sort of stuff. And you know, I was giving my perspective as a Canadian, and I wanted to say, I'm Canadian, so I can't vote. If I could, I would be voting for Trump. Wouldn't let me put Trump into the super chat, but you sure as hell could put Kamala in. So I guess I could have framed it. I certainly wouldn't vote for Kamala, but then that's not an endorsement of Trump. It's just a dissuasion from Kamala, right? Anyway, it's neither here nor there. It doesn't really matter. Point is, I think the Logos has written it, and it's plain for anyone to see who's reading this narrative. You're on the chapter before the last chapter, and you can see how it's going to end. And I think the monomyth is going to have his story resolved. Anyway, I'm just at the parking lot. Hopefully Trinity doesn't bark, but she probably will, because she does right about now. And I'm going to take puppies for a quick run in the nice fall weather. Y'all take care. Oh, casual AF tonight, I believe. Take care, folks. Bye-bye.